There are countless video games out there that have made significant impact in the industry. But what about those games that have been forgotten or not recognized by the gaming community, such as Thrill Kill? You see, I know that this game was not popular because of the decision from EA to not publish such a violent and controversial game, even though it was 100% completed. Still, I remember being a wee lad and having a copy of this game, so imagine my surprise when I saw people talking about this forgotten game. But wait, there's more games people know nothing about. Stay with me, we're gonna talk about it. Roll the intro! Disclaimer: this is not a list of games that never saw the light of day, but rather franchises that were left forgotten and not many people know about. So, if you know some of these games, it just means that the people aware of its existence is little, not non-existent. Anyway, back to the video. Siphon Filter is a classic third-person shooter game that was released for the PlayStation 1 back in 1999. Developed by Sony Bend Studio, the game puts players in the shoes of Special Agent Gabe Logan as he takes on a dangerous mission to stop a deadly virus from being unleashed on the world. Along the way, players will navigate a variety of environments and engage in intense shootouts with enemy forces, all while utilizing a range of gadgets and weapons to gain the upper hand. The game also features stealth mechanics that allow players to sneak past enemies undetected, adding an extra layer of strategy to the gameplay. For today's standards, you could say that this game is stiff. I mean, really stiff. But it was quite advanced for its time, having interactive lights, explosive vehicles, and a variety of weapons at your disposal, letting you fulfill the mission the way you saw fit. It's a shame not seeing more people talking about this game because it truly shows features that were quite advanced for its time and an intriguing, complex story, in a make-or-wave fashion. Hey, it's still entertaining, so I'm not complaining. Tomba, or Tombi as it was known in other regions, is a classic platformer game that was released for the PlayStation 1 back in 1997. Developed by Whoopee Camp, who I must say has the best company intro of all time. The game puts players in the role of a wild adventurous pink-haired creature named Tomba, or Tombi, as he sets out on a quest to save his friends from an evil group of pigs. Yeah, the plot is all over the place, but who cares, it's no different from a plumber eating mushrooms and defeating a dragon. The game features a unique 2.5D art style that blends 3D environments with 2D character sprites, giving it a distinctive look and feel. Players will explore a variety of colorful and whimsical environments, each with their own set of challenges and obstacles to overcome. Along the way, Tomba can use a variety of tools and weapons to help him on his journey, including boomerangs, grappling hooks, and even a magical pig snout that allows him to sniff out hidden secrets. Yeah, I told you it was all over the place. The game was actually rather successful as it allowed the studio to develop a sequel in 1999 which improved upon many of the features of the first game. The feature that I love the most about this game specifically is, spoiler alert, how an item you collect in Area 4 may be used later in Area 1, and there you may get another item as a result to that to use in Area 7 and so on, rewarding players for backtracking and exploring. God of War. Nope, not that God of War. Nope, not that one either. Nope, not that one. Yeah, now we're talking. And before you ask, no, this is not a fan game, it's an official one. Developed by Sony Pictures Mobile and Javaground, the game follows the adventures of Kratos, the former God of War, as he sets out to seek revenge against those who have wronged him. You know, basically every God of War before Kratos decided to become a Norse. The game features smooth, responsive controls that make it easy to perform complex combos and execute devastating finishing moves. Yeah, I know what I said. This game felt smooth being played on this. God of War Betrayal also boasts impressive graphics and sound design with cutscenes that look and feel like they are straight out of the console games. Take that with a grain of salt, but you know what I mean. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to play this game as its data seems to have been lost over the time. I've seen some YouTubers being able to play it nowadays though, so if you have any way to properly play this game, leave a comment below so I can check it myself. Does anyone remember how cool it was to imagine yourself as a humanoid animal that would fight with the strength of beasts before fairies turned it into cringe? No? Well, I do. Bloody Roar is a classic fighting game that was released for the PlayStation 1 back in 1997. Developed by Hudson Soft, the game features a unique gameplay mechanic that allows players to transform into powerful animal-like beings during combat. Players can choose from a diverse roster of characters, each with their own set of moves and transformations, ranging from a wolf to a rabbit, a tiger to a mole and more. Also, Bakuryu and Long are the best characters. Period. The game also features a variety of game modes, including arcade, versus, and the story mode that delves deeper into the game's lore. With its fast-paced action, responsive controls, and unique character designs, Bloody Roar quickly became a favorite among fighting game enthusiasts. It even spawned several sequels and spin-offs, cementing its place as a beloved classic in the PlayStation 1 library. So, having said that, unlike other games that I've mentioned before, Bloody Roar was quite successful and even spawned multiple sequels for multiple platforms. Still, having to compete with titans such as Tekken, Soul Calibur, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, while also not improving upon the formula, left the Bloody Roar franchise completely abandoned and forgotten by many. But not by me. I will always remember the amazing soundtrack of Bloody Roar 2, the best entry in my opinion. Dear Lord, it's so good. Oh baby, now we're getting into the absolutely darkest realm of video games. Before I proceed, sorry for my pronunciation. Gambare Goemon Mononoke Dochu Tobidase Nabebugio, which basically translates to Gambare Goemon Mononoke Journey Jump Out Hot Pot Magistrate. That's what Google Translator says. Is an RPG installment for the Mystical Ninja or Goemon series, released in 1999 by Konami for the Nintendo Game Boy and Game Boy Color. The only reason why I know about this game is because I was playing with my Game Boy at the schoolyard and an Asian kid said that he had a game to lend me and gave this to me. Since it was in Japanese and I could not understand a thing he'd said, he helped me to understand the mechanics and story of this game through translation. This RPG allows you to control 4 characters: Goemon, Ebisu, Sasuke and Yae. In this game, not only do you destroy monsters, but you can also collect them. Yep, you heard me, collect them as if they were Pokemon. The interesting thing though is that these monsters can be assigned to any party member to boost stats or provide an extra attack on every turn. But in some instances, there's a chance that you can do a special attack if the monster synchronizes with your party member, meaning that the game not only encourages you to catch as many monsters as possible, but to try different combinations as well to unleash powerful attacks. Unfortunately, this game was never released in the West and there's no official translation to it, so it can only be played in Japanese. If I ever get a chance to get a ROM-hacked version of this game and play it as I did when I was a wee lad, I would be the happiest man on earth. Also, the king that led me the game was called Yuken. Whatever you are, thank you for the beautiful memory. You thought that was it? Yeah, keep dreaming, mate. Oh, and since we're talking about dreams, how about a game about dreams? Dreams to Reality is a classic action-adventure game for the PC, originally released in 1997, developed by Cryo Interactive Studio. Players assume the role of protagonist Duncan and explore surreal dream worlds while attempting to stop an evil group that seeks to control subconscious reality. And let me tell you, the game is as weird as it sounds, but it was pretty ahead of its time as well, allowing you to manipulate physics, fight, use magic, fly, and go deeper and deeper into the dream world. Graphically speaking, Keep in mind that this game was released in 1997 and you would need the equivalent of a 3080 or a PS5 to run this kind of game because of how complex and demanding it is. Still, as impressive as it was, it did not sell well and it was heavily criticized in its time. One can only hope it can become a cult classic. Three words: British cat pirate. British cat pirate. How can it get any better than that? But seriously though, Claw is a classic 2D side-scrolling platformer game for the PC, originally released in 1997. Developed by Monolith Production, the game follows the adventures of Captain Nathaniel Joseph Claw, or Captain Claw for short, or Claw for even shorter, as he and his crew are attacked by the crew of the Cocker Spaniards. Get it? It's a dog, and it's a Cocker Spaniel, but it's a Spaniard fighting a cat, a British cat. It's a wordplay. Yeah, you get the idea. After they attack and sink his ship, he is thrown into a prison cell waiting for his execution. There, he finds a note and a piece of map hidden in the wall. The note tells of the Amulet of the Nine Lives, a mystical artifact that grants its wearer near immortality. Breaking out of his cell, Claw sets out to collect all 9 gems of the amulet and retrieve it for himself. The game features a unique pirate-themed setting with a colorful cast of characters and a charming 2D art style platformer. Now, is it the best platformer in the world? Not really, but I can tell you what it is. An unforgiving one, because oh my god, this game is hard. Please give it a go and see if you're up for the challenge, as it would be really nice to see a revival of an interesting franchise such as this. Remember the Resident Evil era of horror games? No, not that one. That one. The one with the tank controls, superb voice acting.
This house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch! You're wounded!
And edgy polygons. Literally edgy, guys. There were a lot of games like this, such as Silent Hill, Dino Crisis or Parasite Eve. But one hidden gem everyone needs to play at least once is a forgotten child, Gallerians, for the PS1. Originally released in 1999 and developed by Polygon Magic, this game follows a young man named Ryan who wakes up in a mysterious laboratory with no memories of its past. As Ryan explores the facility, he discovers that he has psychic powers and must use them to fight against the evil forces that are trying to take over the world. The game features a variety of creepy and atmospheric environments, from the sterile halls to the laboratory to the dark and twisted corners of Ryan's own mind. Players will use a variety of psychic powers and weapons to defeat enemies, including telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and electrokinesis. The game also features a unique drug system where Ryan must take special pills to replenish his psychic powers. Since remakes are fashionable nowadays and work surprisingly well, I would love to see a remake of this game since it has not aged well. I mean, look at Resident Evil 2 and Silent Hill, they are getting some love, why not Gallerians, come on! Anyway, one can only dream. And that was it. These are some of the obscure games that nobody knows, or at least nobody talks about. However, there is one game that I haven't mentioned that I'm keeping for myself, as it is my favorite game of all time. But I will only reveal it the day I reach 100,000 subscribers, and who knows, might even stream it if I feel like it. Again, I have to reach 100,000 subscribers, so it's not like it's gonna happen. So thank you for watching, guys. Let me know of any of your obscure games that nobody talks about in the comments below, and see you next time. This is Wano, and thank you for watching.